Sons of Anarchy, Season 7, Episode 11 is over, but we're just getting started here on Sons of Anarchy live on postshowrecaps.com. And now, here are the two guys who know that it's too late for all of us. I'm Rob Cesternino. Here's Josh Wigler.
Rob, why would you do this to us? Why?
I'm sorry.
Why would you do this?
It wasn't supposed to be this way.
Oh, well, I'm glad it was, because you know what, Rob?
What's that?
I think we just watched the best episode of Sons of Anarchy Season 7.
Whoa!
Let me just start with that, because we've been a little negative on this show here and there, and you know what? They're finally giving us some of the good. So let's start with a big compliment. I think that was the best episode of the season.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think that, I was really riveted like the first hour. I thought towards the end it was, they were sort of like stalling a little bit, but the beginning of this episode,
stall?
Not June stalling, but I thought the first 45 minutes, first hour of this episode was really like this was everything we've been asking for in season 7.
It took us a while to get there. But I think it seems like the results were worth it. Some of the best performances of the entire series last night, the Juice and Jack scene was incredible. Jimmy Smith's just on fire. So there was a lot of really great stuff last night.
Yeah. And Josh, I just want to let you know that, you're my best friend.
I know. I accept that. I accept that.
All right, so we got a lot to do. Of course, we're live here on Wednesday morning after Sons of Anarchy from last night. We've got our chat room going, lots of people chatting live with us here on postshowrecaps.com. Also, we'll take your questions in our YouTube channel at postshowrecaps.com/YouTube. I also have some questions that came to us. I opened up the question thread on Facebook last night. I thought that might be a fun thing to do on Post Show Recaps.
Oh, that's great, yeah.
So I opened up the question thread on Facebook. I've got some questions from Facebook from people who watch the show. I'll try to do that every week the rest of the way. You can get to that page at postshowrecaps.com/Facebook. All right, Josh, let's pick things up. Okay, so let's run through the headlines from last night.
Okay.
Number 1. Jax knows Gemma killed Tara.
Yeah, secret's out. It's officially out. Jax knows everything. He knows everything there is to know.
Yes. And are you surprised that Jax knows everything this quick?
This quick? I mean
2 episodes left to go. Are you surprised?
I'm more surprised that it took until episode 11 for him to figure it out. No, I think that once, that was really all it was going to take is, somebody had to put him on the path towards looking at his mom as the culprit. Jax isn't just going to automatically look at Gemma as the person, who killed his wife. He's not going to suspect his own mother of killing his wife unless somebody says, hey, look in that direction. And once he starts looking in that direction, it all comes together very, very fast. Not surprised at how fast it came together once it was on his radar. Surprised it took so long to get on his radar.
Yeah.
But worth the wait, I think.
It really did unravel very quickly.
But that was great. That's great. That's exactly what we've been asking this show to do all season long, is to pick up the pace a little bit, go, get a little bit breakneck with the story, with the things that matter, and it produced some of the best scenes of the series last night.
Wendy telling Jax, were you surprised that she decides to betray Gemma's confidence?
That was a little fast, I thought. Everything kind of comes together at the exact right moment. It's not just the Abel thing that comes out for Jax. Jax finds out from Wendy that Gemma had been hiding Juice. That's kind of serendipitous timing, and that puts him on the path towards confronting Unser and confronting Juice. So that was a little bit surprising. But I guess, Wendy in the morning after she has been outed as Abel's mom is feeling like we got to have an open dialogue. We got to communicate a little better, Jax.
Yeah. And so from there, then Jax goes and he goes to talk to Unser.
He's seeking answers.
Yes, he's seeking answers, and he's like, put some pants on. We got to talk.
Or leave him off. It doesn't matter. We didn't see your butt in the last episode.
Whoa. You want to see Unser's butt?
It seems fair. We've seen everybody else's.
Now, I have just a
opportunity here, Rob.
Yeah. Unser. I mean, he can't put this together yet. He's the only guy who's had all of the pieces. He's the only guy who's a professional police officer. I mean, Unser just can't put 2 and 2 together on this still?
Well, you sound a whole lot like Juice right now. That's exactly what Juice says to him. It's like, you have your head shoved so far up your ass that you can't see what's right in front of you. And then Jerry has a great comeback about things being shoved up your ass.
Zing.
But Unser, I guess Unser just, I don't think he really wants to believe this. I think that he has seen some horrible shit in his time in Charming, and I think that this is just like, this is a bridge too far. It's, for all of her terrible ways and everything horrible that Gemma has done, Unser has declared his love for this woman in the past. He has feelings for her. Whether or not he still has big romantic feelings for her anymore, I'm not really sure. But he certainly cares about her, and to believe that she's capable of doing this heinous crime, I think that there's just an emotional leap that maybe he's not quite ready to make at this point. Also, I'm defending Unser because I love Unser, but it also is kind of...
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really hard to believe that he's not being able to put all these things together because one, he was with her also on the night that Tara died, and he was the only one, and she was like all messed up, and she like disappeared, she like escaped from him.
Right. Well, I think, at this point, I think he's figuring it out. I think at this point, now that Gemma has, run out of town, I think it's pretty hard for anybody to deny what's going on.
Yeah. So, Gemma's on the run. Where is she going?
Well, at the end of the episode, she's driving off. She's driving upstate. She's driving north. The Sons of Anarchy Reddit is actually pretty interesting. So it says on the sign Portento, Fortuna, and Eureka.
Right.
Fortuna and Eureka are both actual cities, but Portento is not an actual place, apparently. This is according to the Sons of Anarchy Reddit. Portento meaning a sign of warning that something, especially something momentous or calamitous, is likely to happen. Fortuna is chance or luck as an external arbitrary force affecting human affairs. And Eureka, a cry of joy or satisfaction when one finds or discovers something. So that's interesting stuff that's on that sign. We're heading towards some sort of miraculous, calamitous reveal.
Yes.
That's where Gemma is driving towards. Exactly where that is physically, who knows? Take your pick.
Something that's muy portento.
Yeah, muy portento.
So, okay, we'll see where that goes. Now, Sons of Anarchy is off next week, correct?
That's correct. We are skipping next week, and then it's going to be the final 2 weeks in a row.
Not for anything. They didn't need to take off the Thanksgiving week. It's not on a Thursday.
No, it's Tuesday. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're taking it off. So
all right.
We have a little bit of time to digest what happened last night.
Okay, so
and to brace ourselves for what's coming up.
Well, at least we still have a lot to digest. All right. So, how did you think Gemma took the news last night, finding out that Jax knows?
Well, she got out of town, which was probably a good call, but not before going on her farewell tour and saying goodbye to everybody she cares about. I think she's had this psychotic break. She kills Tara. She starts talking to the ghost of Tara. She starts denying. She crafts this elaborate lie with Juice about what really happened the night that Tara was killed. And slowly but surely, it's been unraveling all season long. That she's just, the conversations with Tara that she was having, that was kind of crazy enough on its own. And then she starts, confessing to baby Thomas, which Abel overhears. She starts confessing to Bobby's corpse. So Gemma's been unraveling for a while, and I like sort of like the methodical, slow unraveling of last night for Gemma. Once it was clear that everybody knows now, and she's kind of just like dead woman walking at that point. So I thought there was something kind of cool about that.
Okay. Let's talk about the scene with Jax and Juice in the prison, which was really, really fantastic stuff.
Yeah, that's some of the best acting we've seen from either of those guys, from Charlie Hunnam and Theo Rossi. Those two, they were phenomenal in that scene.
Yeah, and now before we get to that, we had Juice ending up killing Lynn in the jail.
Right.
And we find out that, as we suspected, that it was RoboCop himself was the mole.
RoboCop is the mole.
Not Jury. Baraski,
yeah. And so ends my Chucky theory, which is fine, because the Chucky stuff we got last night was really fun as well. But yeah, RoboCop's the mole. I think we figured that was a very strong possibility, pretty much probably from the moment that Peter Weller is cast on Sons of Anarchy. You can bet that guy's going to play a pretty shady guy, somebody who's not always going to be on the level. But yeah, he sold out the Sons to the the Lynn triad, and now he's a marked man.
Yeah. Once he like shot that guy in the head when he was like about to give some answers and was like,
That was
ah,
it.
well, he pissed me off.
Yeah, sorry, boys. I have a
Yeah.
quick temper.
Yeah, that was the mole patrol was on red alert after that.
Full effect, absolutely.
Yes. And so Jury's son was just a red herring.
No, I mean jury wanted Jax dead, but he didn't do anything about it. So yeah, I guess it is a red herring. He didn't go to Lynn, and I think that you can take Lynn at his word on that for the reasons that Juice outlines. He's like, Lynn has no reason to cover up Jury. He would want us to be attacking each other.
Yeah. All right. So Lynn is dead, and Jax goes to see Juice in the prison, and Juice is like, "Hey, I did what you said. It's time for me to be back in the Suns."
Yeah, I did what you said. It's on, right? I'm patched back in, and Jax has other plans.
Yeah. And so Jax is saying like, "Hey, I found out that the guy that we found out that the guy that Gemma ID'd was in Vegas. Why'd you go to my mom to hide from the club? Well, we just found each other." And then Jax tells the whole thing about Abel, and then Juice reveals everything. Are you surprised Juice came clean?
No, I think Juice is ready to pop. He's that was like his big thing earlier in the season. It's like he hates being alone. He doesn't like being alone. He needs to talk to somebody. He has such a heavy heart with guilt over all of these horrible, horrible things he's done. And he finally thinks that he has this chance at redemption with the club. He goes inside. Other things go inside, and he's having a very hard time in prison. And I think that just in this moment, as it's starting to happen in front of him, as Jax is confronting him with the reality, I think Juice knows at this point that he just has to let it out. He just has to pop. He has to say exactly what's on his mind. He has to talk about what really happened. There's no more lying here. The secret's out, and he may as well just roll with the tide.
So where does this end for Juice?
Well, we've been saying all season long that Juice probably can't survive this thing, and now we have it in very clear terms from Jax. Jax is appreciative of Juice coming clean and telling the truth, but at the same time, Juice can't walk back what he did. He aided Gemma in the murder of Jax's wife.
Yeah.
In the cover-up, at least, and this great lie that got, among many other people, got Bobby Elvis killed. So he tells Juice, he says, "I'll make sure it's quick." Seems like it's probably gonna not end with Juice being alive after that.
Are they just gonna kill him in the prison?
Well, he's in the hospital now, right? Like the guards at the end of the episode come to Juice's cell and just punch him in the face a bunch.
Now,
so what are they gonna? Are they sending him to the hospital to get killed there? Like so somebody has access to him to like shank him?
Was that from the Suns?
I don't know if it's from the Suns. It's very possibly from the Suns, or I guess the other possibility is Marilyn Manson's going to protect him.
Yeah.
He does seem to have fallen in love with Juicy.
Yeah. So that could be his knight in shining armor.
Oh man, I think Juice would rather be dead. I really do. Rather than be Marilyn Manson's gatekeeper for the rest of his days, I think he'd rather see himself out the door.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But no, I think it seems very, very, very likely that Juice will not make it out of this thing alive. That's been on the table from the very beginning of this season, and it's in pretty clear terms right now. But stranger things have happened on Sons.
Yeah. And then Juice calls up Gemma and is like, "Yeah, I had to tell her everything." And she takes that pretty well also.
Well, she hangs up on him. It's just fair. Fair enough.
Yeah, he's rambling.
It's like she's not mad at anybody. She's not mad at Juice for finally, ratting about what happened. When she's okay with Abel. She's even okay with Courtney Love by the end of this thing. I think that she now knows there's no one to blame but herself. She knows why she did what she did. She was trying to be a good mother, but she was horribly misguided. But she can't blame it on anybody. There's no one she can blame this on. She's the only one left. So I think that she's kind of come to terms with that. Like she's not mad at Wendy for telling Jax about Juice. She's not mad at anyone anymore because it's all on her, and she knows it. What I'm curious about is, like, is she driving away just because it's, fight or flight survival instinct, or does she have some sort of plan up her sleeve, or is she just trying to save her own hide here? So I don't really know what's going on there, but I think Gemma, she knows the score. She knows what's up at this point.
Yeah, yeah. Does Jax need to find out anything else, like that Gemma tried to kill Juice or anything like that?
No, I think the only other big skeleton in the closet that could come out is Gemma's role in JT's death.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only one that Jax doesn't really know that would really, I think, tip the scales. Otherwise, I think it's pretty okay. Otherwise, I think he knows enough to know whether or not he has to introduce his mother to Mr. Mayhem.
Okay, so let's talk about Gemma's farewell tour. She starts off with Chucky. She grabs a ring first.
Right.
We'll see where the ring goes later. She goes with Chucky.
Well, she says goodbye to Wendy and says that she's glad that Abel knows that Wendy is his mommy.
Okay.
So she's glad that Abel will have that strong motherly influence in his life.
Yes. I know that Gemma killed Tara, but who do you think that Gemma thinks is the better mom to raise the boys, Tara or Wendy?
Well, I think she likes Wendy now, but she did not like Wendy always.
She had a lot of beef with both of them.
She had a lot of beef with both of them, but I think that there was...
She tried to kill Wendy. She tried to kill Tara.
Right. She at least attempted both of their lives, multiple times.
They're a very forgiving bunch.
I know, they really are. It's a crazy, crazy effed up world that they live in over there in Charming. I think that, if she had her druthers, she probably wouldn't have stuck a fork in Tara's head. If she could, hit reset on that, I think she would. But I think that she's glad that at least if Tara's gone, then at least Wendy is here, because Wendy has cleaned up her act and is pretty good with these kids.
Yeah. Who did you think that she would pick as a wife for Jax? Wendy or Tara?
Tara, every day.
Tara.
Yeah.
Okay. I almost feel like maybe she might like Wendy better as a wife, but Tara better as a mom.
I don't know. This apples and oranges.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about Gemma with Chucky. Everybody's coming looking for her, so Chucky says, why don't you slug me in the face?
Right, punch me in the face, here are my keys, go hide somewhere. He covers for her, the sons leave, she comes out, she thanks him, he says, you're my best friend, Gem.
Yeah, I thought it was odd back at the garage when, Unser tells Chucky, like, hey, why don't you go back to the house and follow her? Like, I thought Chucky was like, I don't work for you.
Chucky works for everybody.
I guess so. Chucky is just like, he's like a robot indentured servant. He just has to do what everybody tells him to do.
Yeah, I think he goes with what feels right in the moment. And if Unser is saying, like, I'm worried about Gemma and I think you should go follow her, Chucky's like, correct. I will go do that. I accept that.
Okay. And so he accepts that. When they are saying their goodbyes, Chucky tells Gemma she's his best friend, and she says, I accept that. Is that a callback to...
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't heard Chucky say I accept that in quite a while, and I thought that was a really nice nod to the Sons of Anarchy of yesteryear. I thought that was really cute. I liked that a lot.
Okay. So we end up with Gemma at the school, and yes. She tells...
Is that before or after she sees Nero? I think that's after Nero.
Okay, so first she starts off and she sits with Thomas for quite some time. Like, she's really not in a big hurry.
No. Well, she's, what's the worst that's going to happen? Jax is going to find her and kill her. That's probably inevitable anyway at this point in her mind.
Okay. And so with the next stop for Gemma, she goes to see Nero. Oh, she's like wandering around aimlessly, and Nero meets up with her.
Right, meets up with Gemma at the house that she was born in.
Yeah. And then we have that really great scene when Jax is calling on the phone.
Yeah, because Jax is like keeping this all to himself. He's not telling the club what's going on yet, but he's confiding in Nero. He's going to tell Nero because he knows that Nero is the person that Gemma is likeliest to turn to. And so if he tells Nero what Gemma did, maybe Nero will be incentivized to turn Gemma over. But it's great. I mean, we already know what Gemma did. We've seen Jax find out what Gemma did. So I thought it was a really smart choice in the way they showed us this scene where it starts with Jax on the phone explaining to Nero what Gemma did, but then we just cut to Nero's side of the conversation, which is him not saying a whole lot and him just reacting to the news. And that was incredible stuff from Jimmy Smits. That was really fantastic.
Yeah, it was a little like jarring at first. It's like, wait, is my volume off on my TV all of a sudden? Why aren't we hearing anything? But it was just really, really interesting to see it from his POV and see the reactions on his face. Kurt Sutter on Anarchy Afterward was talking about how, we've already heard the story like 10 times before.
Exactly.
We don't need to hear it again. So
totally agreed with that. I think that's absolutely true, and I think that now the interesting part is seeing these people react to The Secret. So seeing Jimmy Smits react to The Secret was awesome.
So are you surprised that Nero didn't do more?
In terms of like
to try to actually Jax, she's right here.
No, I think that he's gutted by this. This is gutting news for basically everybody that we know and care about on the show. Everybody knew that Gemma was a badass and was a crazy mofo, but I don't think anybody knew that she was this crazy. I don't think anybody knew she was capable of killing her son's wife. And certainly Nero knew that Gemma was troubled, and she's been confiding in him throughout this season about how she's feeling bad about stuff and how she's just, she doesn't seem to be altogether there. And now all the pieces of the puzzle come together, and he has just had this kind of touching goodbye with Gemma before he picks up the phone and gets the news from Jax. And I think he's stunned. I think he's floored. And I think that the only thing he can do in the moment is say, get out of here. He doesn't want Jax to kill her. That's what he tells Jax in the final scene of the episode is basically, I know you think that, you have to kill her for this, but if you do it, Mono, you're not coming back.
Mono.
That's gonna swallow you up, and you're never coming out of that.
Yeah. So at what point does the revenge have to end?
I don't know. Well, another thing that we should talk about is, will Jax get a chance to seek revenge? Jax is really up against the wall too now. Now Jax knows that everything that he's been doing this season has been built on this horrible lie. Every single body that's dropped, Jury, Bobby, everybody who's died along the way, Jax is taking that squarely on his shoulders. And that it's great to hear that, and it's great to know that he has messed up. It was amazing to hear Unser finally call him out for being a horrible father and a horrible human being, and Jax is kind of owning it at this point. But the tangible offshoot of this is that Jax is going to face a mayhem vote for this. He killed Jury. He killed a fellow member of the club. He killed the president of the Indian Hills chapter on completely bullshit pretenses. And now he's got to own up to that, and that could be what gets Jax Teller in the ground. That could be the end of Jax Teller.
Yeah, I'm pretty convinced after this episode that Jax isn't going to be living past the end of episode 13 this season. I'm pretty convinced Jax will be dead at the end of this.
And I think, I think I saw that somebody asked this question, so, we're just kind of preemptively answering it now. Is that the way that Jackson dies? Does Jackson die from a mayhem vote? Does he basically turn himself over to the Sons of Anarchy? Does he allow himself to die so that the club can live, so that his family has a shot at like a normal life? I totally see that coming. I think that's where we're headed.
Yeah, I think that Jax is basically trying to take all the accountability on himself and say, okay, Indian Hills, that was me. August Marks, that was all me. Baraski's people, that was all me. Everything was all my fault, and then he'll die, and then, it's almost like all of the sins die with him.
Yeah, he's dying to close the book on that and to allow the club to open up a new chapter and start over and have a happy ending. And I think that he only sees that happening if he, accepts his role and everything. And he's probably right. I mean, I don't really know how he can walk away from all of this. So it's tough. It's a hard situation. And I do think that the very likely outcome is it ends with Jax turning him over to be, this club has been killing him this entire series. This club that he loves has been killing him this entire series. His dedication to this club, everything that he'd be willing to do for the club, he has been slowly dying with every choice that he makes. It only makes sense for the club to actually kill him in the end.
Well, Javi Sebastian says in the chat room that Jax dies riding. There's a reason why they showed the bike that his dad had rebuilt. Do you think that maybe we
Oh,
see like Jax maybe just takes like, hey, let me do this myself, and then
yeah.
goes and crashes into the same spot as John Teller?
Like in front of everybody, he's like, "All right, the mayhem vote, but let me just do it. I'll take care of it."
Yeah, something like that.
Oh man, yeah, I could see it. I could
Okay.
see it. They did spend some time on JT's bike and everything like that, and we saw the crash site earlier in the season. And I believe the very first thing you ever see on Sons of Anarchy is Jax riding on the road. So there's some circularity there.
Okay. Let's talk about when Unser and Jerry go to see Juice.
Yeah, and Juice is like he's all zen at this point because he knows what's up. He knows that he's done. I'm done.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
done.
He's done, and he's basically like mocking them. I mean, why doesn't Juice just tell them what's up? Is he worried that he'll be a rat at this point?
Uh, yeah, I think he just wants things to take the natural course at this point. And I think that like he wants whatever little amount of loyalty to the club he can have left, I think he wants to hang on to. And if, his one role in the club at this point is just let them kill him, I think that he's okay with that. I think that he's ready to die. He's ready to pop. He's done.
Yeah. Unser doesn't seem too concerned that Juice might say something yeah, Unser, thanks for, hiding me and getting rid of that dead body when I killed that
I
guy.
know.
Unser really just comes at this from not worried about that
Nah,
stuff.
he's not worried about that. What does Unser have? That guy's literally dying, so he's got nothing left. Who cares?
He's gonna outlive everybody.
He is, yeah. Yeah, Juice says no one lives forever, right? And I think Unser could reply, I'm gonna live forever. I'm the only one of yous.
Gemma is the gatekeeper.
Yeah, who's the keymaster?
Zool, right?
Is it
Dana?
Vince Clortho?
I think so.
Isn't that right?
Yeah. And so,
I think Juice is the gatekeeper and Marilyn Manson's the keymaster,
I could see why you would say that.
right?
Yeah, I could. I could see that. All right. So we talked about Gemma and Nero. Let's talk about the Sons going to go look for Baraski. Actually, before we get to that, let's talk about the fight between Jax and Unser.
Oh yeah, what a dick, Jax.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't punch an old man with cancer who's been like so good to you your entire life. Come on, dude.
Who's been like the errand boy of
Yeah.
the Teller Morrow families. Yeah. For 30, 40 years.
Yeah, Unser took it like a champ.
Yeah.
Unser took it like a champ.
Yeah, and what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Jax is a jerk. Jax is a horrible person. That's what this season has been showing us, and now he's got 2 episodes left to atone for being a horrible person. We'll see if he can do it.
Yeah, and so then they put out his APB on Jax.
Well, why didn't Unser just say, "Hey Jerry, go arrest him. You saw him punch me in the face." Just arrest him right there.
I don't know. Was she there at that point?
Yeah, she's there. She runs right to Unser's side after Jax punches him in the face. And Tig and Chibs are there, so I don't know why. I guess, is there some paperwork that's got to happen? I don't think so. She saw it with her own 2 eyes. Didn't you think she could just arrest him?
All right, so they put out the APB on Jax, and if we're gonna have a complaint about this episode last night,
Yes.
I think this is gonna be it. So like they go look for Baraski, he's not there, so they're hanging out in the deli, and then there's like some cops like girl, I think we got Jax's plates right here, and they're like, Jax, they're running your plates. And he's
APB,
like,
brother.
well, I gotta get out of here. Whoa! And it was so odd that the car chase.
I know. It was just one of those goofy Sons of Anarchy car chases at a time where we really didn't need it.
But the music
Yes.
totally takes you out of it too, and it was just such an odd music choice too. This is from Facebook. Emily Stobbs asks us, "What was up with the weird jazz music for the car chase scene with Jax? I felt like it really didn't fit."
Yeah, it's Sons of Anarchy does this. It's never my favorite part of the show when they have like the goofy music and the long chase scenes. But it felt especially out of place in this episode given like the gravity of everything else. Like I feel like everything else that was going on, the severity of the revelations and the secret coming out, and Jax having to come to grips with the fact that his mother killed his own wife, that's heavy enough on its own, and we didn't need any kind of car chase to like kind of amp up the intensity. And I think the music does take you out of it. So I thought that this was unnecessary. I don't think we needed it.
Yeah, I thought it was slapstick. It
Yeah,
really
I
was
agree.
like it was silly, and it wasn't like action packed. It was just like just a silly diversion.
We didn't need it. We didn't need it. The episode was totally fine without it. I guess like the end result that the show kind of needs maybe is for there to be the law is looking for Jax. Jax is really being everything is closing in on Jax, including the law now. So I guess we needed that, but there's probably I don't know, a more graceful way of pulling that off.
Yeah, and I think that that's also just another thing that looks to speak to that Jax isn't coming out of this alive because he's got he's got to get arrested. He's got the Sons coming after him. Like everything is coming after him.
Walls are closing in.
The walls are closing in on him. It's just really, really crazy. And like the police took like a brutal crash also.
I know, it's not cool.
Yes. Yeah, not good.
So what do you think? RoboCop dead. He's not gonna make it.
They gotta kill RoboCop, right?
Gotta kill RoboCop.
Yeah.
Were you bummed that we didn't see RoboCop last night, given that his secret comes out? And frankly, the episode was directed by Peter Weller, I believe.
Yeah, he was busy directing.
I guess he couldn't show up for like a 5-minute scene.
I don't know. Oh, if he shows up, then you gotta come up with an excuse why they don't kill him.
Yeah.
So it was easier for them just to punt this or kick the can down the road on that.
What did you think of just a flashback a little bit? The death of Henry Lynn. What did you think of that scene?
It was okay. I mean, I thought that Henry Lynn like really fell for Juice's trick pretty easily. Like
Juice is a good liar.
I guess so. I mean, you would think Henry Lynn would have been like, wait, hold on. So if I tell you what you want to know, you're not gonna kill me? And he's like, no, it's fine.
I'm not gonna kill you. Come on. On.
You think he would like held out a little bit?
A little bit.
Yeah, but
Not so
no,
much. Not so much.
So then after Jax is on the car chase, then we go to Gemma at the school. She
Yes.
gives the ring to Abel.
Yeah.
So whose ring is that? It's John Teller's ring.
I believe it was JT's. Yeah.
But she gave it to Jax, but then she has it back.
Yeah, well, didn't he put the rings on the grave back in season 1? Did he ever reclaim those?
Yeah, those are the ones that he wears. That's like the SO and the NS.
So maybe these are different rings. I don't know.
They have a lot of sons.
It's JT's.
Okay.
They probably have a lot of rings.
They have a lot of rings.
Yeah.
From all of the motorcycle championships they won
Exactly. Yeah.
back in the day.
Part of their legit biz.
Anyway, so we see Courtney Love again. She's like, yeah, you're not supposed to be here. But Gemma's very kind now. Says, thank you for watching for my son.
Yeah, Gemma, like, there's a level of clarity there now. She knows what's up. She knows what's up. She knows the people who are on the right side of this, and she knows who's on the wrong side, namely herself. So it's not just the farewell tour; it's kind of an apology tour as well.
All right, we see a meeting with the Sons and Jax, and he basically tells everybody what was going on, but he also takes blame for everything, and then very quickly he's like, all right, I gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta go to bed. Like, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Like a 5-minute meeting.
I love that. He's like, I would appreciate some time to myself, guys.
Yes.
Yeah,
No more questions.
I can't talk about this right now. I would appreciate some time. Yeah, he just dropped a bomb on them, and he's not letting them talk to him at all. He says, I need some time to think about this. I suggest you do the same. What's he telling them to think about? What the future is going to look like without Jax?
I don't know. Brian in the chat also brings up a good point about how Gemma tells Abel that he'll be when he needs to wear that when he'll be a son. Like, are the Sons of Anarchy making it another year? at this pace.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't think that Abel is making it into the Suns at any point. I think that's going to be if there's a happy ending here. I think it's that. Well, and that's something that Nero says at the end of the episode is like maybe it's time to honor Tara's wishes, and Tara's wishes were get these kids the hell out of Charming. Get them away from this life. This life eats you up and spits you out and eats you up again. So get them out of here. And I think, when Jax kind of just quietly goes, yeah, he knows. So I think if there's going to be a victory here for the Tellers, I think it's going to be that Abel and Thomas are going to get far away from this life.
Wendy takes the kids, leaves Charming. Yeah. Where do they go? They haven't set up a Eureka.
Or they go to the farm with Nero.
Oh, well, we did have all of the Nero Wendy scenes this season.
Yeah, that's a happy ending.
Yeah. Could there be a Nero Wendy romance?
I could see it.
Oh my God.
Nendy?
Oh my God. Well, that would be something.
Weiro?
Weiro indeed.
Yeah.
And so that last scene that we have in the episode, Nero and Jax talking about the whole thing with Tara, and Nero says maybe it's time to honor Tara's wish.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, I think these kids are getting out of Charming, and that's going to be the most positive thing that happens on this show.
Okay. We have so many questions here. Let's jump into some of them. Here's one from our good buddy Dale Wentworth at Guy69. Yes, he wants to know. Huge can of worms got opened up tonight. Will Jax or Nero ever forgive Gemma? And does Jax step down as Prez?
Oh my God, Dale! I'm so taken aback.
Yes.
Maybe Gemma's driving. Maybe Gemma's driving to Dale's farm.
Oh, maybe.
He's in Washington, right?
Is Dale Nero's uncle?
Oh my God. No, he's like the Washington Caucasian Nero.
Okay.
Yeah.
With less sweaters.
With fewer sweaters. More orange in his wardrobe.
So what do you think? Can Nero or Jax ever forgive Gemma?
I think that's the hard question that the characters are asking themselves right now. When Nero tells Jax it will kill you to kill her. Like if you kill her, you will never come back from it. And Jax responds by saying, that's what hurts the most is, like, even after all of this horrible shit that she's done, that's my mom. I love her. How could she do this? I love my mom. So I think he's wrestling with that question as well. Can Jax forgive Gemma? Can Nero forgive Gemma? I don't know. I don't think that it's completely off the table. I actually don't think it's completely off the table. I think can you see Sons of Anarchy ending with her alive, with Gemma alive? Because I can see it.
I can see it also. I think it might also be like the worst punishment. I think that you've said this before, that the worst punishment for Gemma would be to go through life without Jax in it.
Yeah, without Jax and like her grandkids.
Yeah, so I don't know how they would get the, like, they'd have to send Wendy away and then Gemma wouldn't know.
Here's what it is. So Jax knows that he's already said it, that Gemma killed Tara in a blind rage. It seems like he gets why she did it. He just doesn't understand how she was able to do it. He's obviously horribly betrayed. This elaborate lie has led to so much death. It has led to so many burned bridges. So Jax takes ownership of his actions. He's going to own up to Indian Hills and all the other charters for killing Jury. We've already said that he could face a mayhem vote. That could be his way off the show, that he has to die in order so that the club can live. So I could see, with that being like, on the table, with that being the eventuality that Jax is facing, I could see Jax seeking out Gemma. There's some ridiculously intense scene between Jax and Gemma where Jax, doesn't kill her and basically lays out everything that her lie did, and then he goes off to get killed by the rest of the Sons of Anarchy while she has to live with the knowledge that her lie, not only did she kill Tara, but she killed Jax as well, and that she can never see the grandkids again.
Yeah, the only tricky part of that is like getting the grandkids where she can't go and see them. Because I feel like if she had access to the grandkids, she'd be okay with that. So it's like they have to like Wendy is gone, you'll never see her again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Jax will do like his like really tough guy speeches, like you'll never see Thomas and Abel again, and I'm gonna die. And then she's just gonna be alone in her cabin in Eureka, crying. She's gonna be alone on Dale's farm forever.
Oh my God.
Dale and Gemma, Blood versus Water 3.
I don't know. Gemma's a little muffinish, no?
Nah, she's cooler than Muffin.
Cooler than Muffin. Okay, let's go. This is a question from Brian Smith. He sent this to us on Twitter also. He wants to know how many other true male Suns fans cried along with Jackson Nero last night. I point this out to the men because every woman that I talked to, except Gemma, was in tears over the dialogue and that hug. And wants to suggest the hashtag I cried with Jackson Nero.
Oh, that's great.
Did you cry with Jackson Nero?
No, I didn't cry with Jackson Nero. I was getting choked up at the Jackson juice scene though. That was really intense.
Yeah.
That was really intense. But just because that's a great hashtag, I'll co-sign the statement.
I cried with Jackson Nero. All right, that's your hashtag for this episode.
That's great.
Okay. This is from John Franco, who wants to know, is Jax going to have to give himself up to Indian Hills to be killed to settle all the scores, and that's how it ends? So
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page with that one.
That seems like a pretty clear line, and it's pretty. That would be a pretty satisfying ending to this season, I think.
Here's another pitch for the hashtag for this episode.
Okay.
This is from Brood, who says, "Goodbye, Grandma."
Goodbye, Grandma. Thanks for the ring.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go hang out with Courtney Love now.
All right, Josh, you want to take this one from Chris Eden?
Sure. Let me see. Chris Eden writes, yes, I think Unser's actions, especially putting out the APB, were out of character for him and don't add up for me. He should see this by now, not be taking it out on Jax. I know he loves Gemma, but damn, Unser.
Damn, Unser.
Damn, Unser. Is that the third hashtag?
Too many characters in the A and the M. It's too many.
Hashtag damn Unser. I mean, he should still be taking this out on Jax, but he should also be taking it out on Gemma. And he should be taking it out on Juice. I don't think that we've been hard enough on Juice. I don't think that we realized how big of a role Juice played in creating the lie.
Yeah, that's fair.
He says it was his idea to pin it on the Chinese.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I mean, Juice has been broken since season 4.
Broken Juice. Hashtag broken Juice.
Too many hashtags.
That's
You're confusing people.
Hashtag. No, we've got a lot of hashtags. We've got a lot of good ones this week.
Okay. Josh, this is a good question. This one is from Grant Angus wants to say, love this episode so much, but what's the relevance of the episode title Suits of Woe? Have you given any thought to this?
I've given no thoughts to this. Everybody looked well dressed, so I don't think that anyone has any reason to be woeful about their suits. What do you think, Rob?
Suits of Woe. Is that a phrase? Is that the name of the song Gemma is singing at the end of the episode?
I mean, it must be something that I don't know about. I don't know. It's from Hamlet, I think. I'm looking it up right now. Suits of Woe.
Okay. Well, then
so we're building towards that Hamlet ending. It's not going to end with the Prince of Charming's not going to be alive at the end of this thing.
Oh my God. Okay. Let's take another question. This is from Ratnick, our prospect, Ratnick.
Yes.
Here's a possible scenario. August Marks, seeking the ultimate retribution against Jax, finds and kidnaps Gemma and tries to use her to get to Jax, but much to August's chagrin, Jax doesn't care about Mama no more.
Oh man, that'd be a funny ending to this show where like August Marks' big bid against Jax. It's like, Jackson, I have your wife. Give me the pastor's wife
your
and
mom.
Your mom. Yeah, I have your mom. And Jackson's be like, I don't care. Kill her. Kill her, August Marks.
She's your problem now.
She's your problem now, August.
Do you think we'll see the pastor's wife?
Don't keep any forks in your kitchen.
Yeah. Will we see the preacher's wife and kid again?
No.
That's it?
No.
Gemma didn't say goodbye to them.
I know, that was uncool.
Yeah.
You'd think that they'd get one last goodbye.
All right. Josh, here's this question from Lance Davis.
Okay, let me take it. All right. More interesting, the drama in this final ride, that is the last season of Sons of Anarchy, or the drama involving the revolving door at host for Anarchy Afterwards in the last few weeks. Rob, you are our reporter on the scene when it comes to Anarchy Afterward. What's the latest on Anarchy Afterward?
Okay, so Anarchy Afterward continued the really it's been the third different host of the show in 3 weeks. This week, the new host of Anarchy Afterward. So it's like SNL. It's like they have a new host every week. But the new host of Anarchy Afterward was Kevin Ryder from Kevin and Bean. That's like a big morning talk show out here in LA. And Kevin was the host of the show. I still don't. And Kurt Sutter was the guest. He was the host last week. There was a different guy who was the host in the first week. That was the most awkward one. I thought this was probably the best of the three, but still not good yet.
Not great?
Not great.
What was the problem?
I just feel like
it sounds like they addressed our complaint. Sutter should be a guest. That's good.
Sutter should be a guest.
Better as a guest than a host?
I think that because he has so much power, like I feel like he's almost such a intimidating presence in the room that I feel like all of the attention is like focused on him and everybody just complimenting him constantly, and so I feel like there's not a ton of talk about the episode, but just a lot of talk about like what a fantastic series and ride this has been. It's sort of like they're just
kneecaps, as one might say.
I wonder if having a segment with Kurt Sutter might be a better way to go than having him there the whole time, because I feel like he's like I mean, what can I say? Like
you should be there producing this thing, Rob. You're the Lila Winston of Anarchy Afterward.
No, I'm afraid of Kurt Sutter.
No, you gotta go. You gotta give it
not to say that Talking Dead is the greatest show of all time, but I feel like it's a little more fun. Whereas
Talking Dead's good. I really like Talking Dead.
I think they get the tone right, where, like, I think they should come on and be like, oh my God, could you believe what just happened tonight? Let's talk about this all. But, it's just like, they come on and it's a lot of like, boy, Sons of Anarchy, what is the, greatest show that was ever made, and this is fantastic, and we're here with, the genius, it's just, we love Sons of Anarchy, but we want to be a little more excited.
Well, hopefully they figure out the format in time for Sutter's next show. Have you heard about Sutter's next show, Rob?
No, what is it?
It's called The Bastard Executioner.
Okay, sounds promising.
And it's about a retired swordsman in medieval times who is called back into action to be an executioner. So he's going to be chopping off lots of heads.
Okay.
And it came out this week that Katie Seagal is going to be on the show.
Oh!
So this is it's going to be like Kurt Sutter's medieval FX show. Who knows when he's starting to work on it, but it's in development right now.
So it's a Game of Thrones competitor.
Meets Sons of Anarchy.
Game of Thrones meets Sons of Anarchy. I'm sure it will be good.
I'm sure we'll be covering it.
Yes.
I think we'll probably be talking about that one.
Yes. Okay. Well, that'll be fun. And I think that Greensleeves was actually a popular song in the Middle Ages.
Oh God, I can't believe you had to bring up Greensleeves.
Okay.
This was going so well.
All right. How about this question from Brood?
Okay. I don't have the full question, so you should.
Oh, okay. So by far the most emotional episode to date. It's all coming to a head now. Just hang on for the ride and enjoy it while it lasts. As much as I'd love this show to continue, it's time to say goodbye before a great thing is ruined. I lost my place on the question. I hope down the line we get Abel all grown up running the club, but Jax has a lot of ish to handle, and I think that's never going to be a possibility. All I can say is, wow, I cried with Jax and Nero. Do you think that it's a realistic possibility that Abel ever becomes a son?
I mean, it's a possibility. It's not off the table. You could see like I've said before maybe there's some sort of like flash forward at the end of this thing where Abel's reading Jax's letters or something like that. It's possible.
But Jax didn't write that many letters.
No, he didn't write. He wrote a few though.
He wrote like 3.
Let him write a few.
Yeah.
No, I hope not. I hope it ends up with Abel and Thomas and Wendy and Nero on the farm, not
Okay.
Dale's farm, Nero's farm.
All right, here's a question that speaks to you, Josh.
Okay. This is from KM Dance Dance, who writes, "Is it just me or has Charlie Hunnam's accent been getting progressively worse as the season goes on? At this rate, by the finale, I'll have an easier time understanding Chibs." Jackie boy, what are you even saying? I can't understand you, brother.
Hey, Chibs, what do you want from me, man?
What do you want? It was about the music, Chibs.
It was always about the music.
It was about Greensleeves, baby.
Yeah, Jax is just like getting more and more British. It's great.
Yeah. This is from Films Are Best, says, I think it's amazing how a show can make me hate and love a character within a couple of episodes. Jax, mainly.
It's funny how I'd been so angry with Jax all season long, and now that he's finally figuring out what's going on, like I kind of feel bad for the guy. It certainly looks like he's facing death's door, and before he goes through it, he has to confront the fact that his mom killed his wife, and that his family's been screwed up forever, and he's gotten his friends killed, and he's burned bridges, and Jax is really, in a really dark spot. And I kind of feel for him. And then you remember all like the horrible things that he's done. You get angry again. But yeah, I feel that. I can relate to that. I have a love-hate relationship with Jack Steller.
Okay. Here's one from Bass Lindo that is speaks to the episode title. Says, so much built-up tension was released in this episode. I think it's my new favorite. At some point during the episode, I came to the realization the whole show has been very much about facades. The hard lifestyle that the characters lead has caused them to put up severe emotional barriers. But in this episode, it was like we got to see most of them for the very first time. Jax, Juice, Gemma, Wayne, even Chucky. A lot of truth, a lot of crying, a lot of resolve. It was like nothing had really hit these guys on a personal level until now. The title Suits of Woe underlines this. It's taken from the Shakespearean play Hamlet, which it is no secret that Sons of Anarchy's basic plot is based loosely upon. But I have that within which passeth now, these but the trappings and the suits of woe, which is Hamlet speaking to his mother and stepdad Claudius, both responsible for killing Hamlet's father.
Wow, that's really deep.
Well, this might have been Kurt Sutter writing in the chat room.
No, he would have dropped some foul language.
Yeah, he would have called us C words.
Yes, exactly. And not like the Bluth family boat.
No.
But that's deep. That's deep. That's really deep. And I co-sign that. I think that this was the best episode of the season by far. I think that it's in contention for being one of the best episodes of the series.
Yeah. No, it was very, very good. The only thing that we had an issue with was the car chase.
That car chase was terrible.
Car chase. That was the big thing. Yeah. All right. So
we didn't talk at all about how much of like an awesome bro Alvarez is now.
Yeah, Alvarez is a pretty good bro. What's going to happen with Lila? Where's her story going to end?
She's just going to be producing porn.
I guess so.
Or maybe Anarchy Afterward with you.
Oh, I'm going to produce.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Wow. Oh, my God.
You'll be producing The Bastard Executioner Afterward together.
Yeah. Okay, me and Lila.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I hope Otto doesn't mind.
She could use your advice. You had some good Redwoody critiques earlier this season.
Yes.
You've got some notes. Bagels and clocks not really working.
Yeah, I would have said thumbs down on that one. All right, so much to do with only 2 episodes left of Sons of Anarchy. We'll be live again 2 weeks from today. So what's the date on that? December 3rd?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds right.
December 3rd, we'll be live again at 10:30 a.m. 7:30 a.m. Pacific, to talk about the 12th episode of Season 7 of Sons of Anarchy. And then we got to figure out what we're going to do for December 9th, because like we talked about being live after it, but it might be like a 4-hour episode. So
Well, I think no matter how long that episode is, Rob, I think we got to stay up. I think
put
we
the
gotta watch
coffee
it.
on.
We'll
Let's
put
do it.
we'll put the coffee on. We'll dig into it, and maybe depending on the episode, there'll be some kind of post-mortem afterwards as well.
Oh my God! All right,
We'll
so
we'll put a fork in this show. We'll put it to bed.
boom, there you go. Goodbye, Sons of Anarchy.
It was so fun. I should be the host of Anarchy afterward.
Do you think that Abel will grow up to be the host of Anarchy afterward?
Welcome to Anarchy Afterward. I'm Abel.
First off, Kurt, let me just tell you what an amazing show this has been.
One of the best shows of all
One
time.
of the top shows ever produced.
The greatest show of all time.
All right, Josh. Our final hashtag is I cried with Jackson.
Oh my God! How many did we end up with? I want to go with Dale's Farm. I can't believe that Dale wrote into us about Sons of Anarchy.
I don't know if all the Sons of Anarchy fans know who Dale is.
Just do it anyway. Hashtag Dale's Farm.
All right. I still like Goodbye Grandma, but
Take your pick.
Pick
There's
your
so
favorite
many.
one.
Hashtag Goodbye Grandma. Hashtag Dale's Farm. What was the other one that was really long? Hashtag I cried with Jackson Nero.
Yeah. All right.
Take them all our way.
Anyway, hope you guys are having fun with us as we talk about the final couple episodes of Sons of Anarchy. Have a great one, everybody. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye.